Was curious, kind of James, as we talked about some of the starting guys that are battling, but who are some maybe the back end guys that you're looking at and you're like, okay, who's going to make this position that you think maybe have stood out as well, that maybe have made strong cases because maybe we came into camp and didn't necessarily know if they were going to make the final 53 man, but if you looked at it today and you're making your cuts tomorrow, like you're like, okay, these guys I think have made a strong case to potentially make that the final cut here.
That's a great question. I think when you look at cornerback and just how depleted they are at cornerback, it's hard to overlook a guy like Alex Johnson. I believe he's a second-year player, had gone undrafted last year, and I think he's had a couple of standout plays throughout training camp. And I'm not saying, oh my gosh, he's going to start week one. I wouldn't want that to happen. However, if guys are banged up, if they're not available, is that somebody you would consider trying to make the team or trying to get in on the mix? I think Sam Womack is another guy who went from I might be on the outside looking in. Now he started 8 games last year, but with Justin Wally coming in, he's out for the year. With Jalen Jones, Juju Brents, with Travis Ward coming in, like you wonder where your pecking order kind of falls for yourself. And I think that he's somebody else who's kind of had some up and down moments throughout camp, but it's somebody who can still fight for a roster spot. And then also, I give a lot of credit to a guy like Tyler Goodson, who coming into camp, I'm not sure what I expected his role to be necessarily, but I do think that he's emerged as a potential RB2 behind Jonathan Taylor, now in addition to DJ Giddens and others, but he's been, I think, a very good standout player on special teams. And he was telling us, like, look, I was undrafted, coming out of college a couple years ago, and now I have a chance to just get on the field however I can. I'm going to do whatever I can to do that. And so he stood out to me. And so I do think I wish I had a better understanding or a clear understanding of the health standpoint of some players, because now I'm starting to get to that point, Cody, where I do want to ask Shane Steichen, like, okay, I understand that some of these guys might not be available to start the year, but is IR a possibility? Because I do know, I believe that the way it works now, they have the rule where you can designate 2 players to go on IR and return during the season. And I'm wondering with some of these hamstring issues with Juju Brents and and Jalen Jones, okay, is that a possibility? Am I getting ahead of myself with that? So it's something to keep in mind in regards to like how the roster shakes out for that first 53-man roster, because we know it can fluctuate, it can change, it can shift. But those are a couple of names that come to mind for me. And I'm curious to see again just what else kind of stands out. The last one I'll throw out there, and I might be a little bit biased, I wrote a story about him, but I think Tyler Common, the wide receiver out of Emporia State, number 43, Division II program he came from.